go ahead and get started. We let Jeff do it. Running a little late, but be here, said. Running late.
Okay, we're going to open up the Finance Committee. Today, Tuesday, July the 14th, 2026. I see we have a quorum in place. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with the statement about FOIA compliance. And it's okay if I read it, right? I affirm that I have not engaged in any discussion, deliberation, polling regarding any item on this meeting's agenda outside of properly noticed open meeting compliance with Arkansas Freedom of Information Act as amended by Act 505 of 2025. We'll take roll call. Frank Baptist? Yes. Ms. Coles, Mr. Foley? Evelyn Reed?
Yes.
Chad Slaughter?
Yes.
Jeff Marlowe, yes. Joe Hart? Yes. Steve Lee? Jeff Hammond? Yes. All right, outstanding. Item number 3 is the meeting minutes from last time, and you should have that packed in your package. I need a motion to approve. Have a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Now we'll start with item number 4, with the Benton Utilities, their May 2026 financials.
What Mr. Peterson is handing out has to deal with our power cost adjustment, and I'll explain that after we go through these highlights. For May, utility-wide revenues over expenses, $775,000. I noticed I made a mistake down at the bottom. All 3 utilities had revenue over expenses for the month of May. Electric was $225,000, water $391,000, and wastewater $157,000. We did have a power cost adjustment of 0.8 penny, where we paid back $182,000 to the customers. If there's anything else on the financials you want me to touch on, I'll be happy to.
Any questions from the committee?
Yes, I will talk about that. The handout Mr. Peterson gave you is our power cost adjustment for June of 26. Short version of that is we get our invoices for all of our power costs, our transmission, our energy, and all that, and we pull that over into this sheet, and then we come up with the total cost for the month, and then we have to make an estimate of what we think the sales are going to be for the next month, and that's how we prorate either the added cost to the customer or the credit on their bill. Now, if you look down at the very bottom of that, we come back after that month is over and actually compare our actual sales to what we estimated. And if you look down at the bottom, we were within 3% actual and estimated. So I feel like we did a pretty good job that month. And then we also, based on what we calculated, the cost to be recovered or paid back or credited to the customer, we show what we actually recovered, and then the difference. And that difference is carried over to the next month, so it keeps rolling. Now, the second page of that shows the entire 12-month period of the power cost adjustment that since we started that in July of 25. I'm showing this to show that basically we credited our customers $324,000 over that period. So essentially, their electric cost is lower at this time than it was last year through that period. Down at the bottom, that's just kind of a recap of how we estimated our sales and what they were to actual. And we were within, for the year, we were within 4%. And that's, we take historical averages there and come up with kind of, I mean, the weather affects the electrical sales, obviously, so we can't be exact on that, but I'm very happy with 4%.
So that negative represents a positive, not a.
Well,
actual versus estimated.
Yes, that's paid back, a negative to us is how I look at that on there, yes. That's going back to the customers.
It's a favorable.
Favorable for the customer.
Yeah, favorable.
Yes.
And this is on the bill, I mean, they see the cost adjustment line, bill, they see this, we have to realize it's all in the law.
That's correct. It is like on the first page, we had that 8/10 of a penny adjustment. And say you use 6,000 kilowatt hours, you get, that's multiplied times that, and that's your credit on your bill. And vice versa, if we have to recover some costs.
We show that calculation's done once a year,
We do it monthly.
so you can see a credit or a debit to your account.
That's correct. And if you, again, on the second page, if you look where it shows the, if you look at February 26, that's where we had that winter storm Fern, and it hit us hard because there were several plants that were closed down, so the price of power increased substantially. We had to pass that on to the customers. We got a lot of calls, but and we still paid back, or still paid back a lot more than what we charged that one month. I think that was $481,000 we had to charge the customers. I don't know that.
Has this been communicated publicly, as far as the total number? I mean, this is something to brag about, for sure.
Well, that was brought up last night at our commission meeting. We kind of tossed that around, and we hate to put that out there because you may get a few months down the road and it goes opposite. And
Well,
then-
Actually, Jimmy, Mr. Brown, did put it out in the public, last month
I
because he was
did,
so
I
proud
thought it
of
was too good news to not share, and I'm asking for forgiveness rather than permission, I guess. But got some very good feedback on that, people were very grateful of the efforts.
We just hate to brag on ourselves.
That's, I'm showing you all the facts, they are what they are. I know a lot of people, when we first implemented the power cost adjustment, there was a lot of concern and worry, and I think it's just, again, I am concerned about the future of power costs. I am with potentials of what we're seeing happening across our country with the data centers and the potential cost of that capacity. But there are other organizations that are having double-digit increases. And I think what this is pointing out is we're, on our electric rates, have been able to maintain our electric rates right where they're at. And because of where the market is and taking advantage of the market, been able to give that back to our customers, that's correct. So, I mean, we're just showing you the facts of what we're doing. And again, I hope we can continue to trend this way, because that's just, again, better for our
Yeah, you
customers.
don't know, there's no
But
guarantee,
I
right?
cannot predict what's gonna happen. If I had that crystal ball, I would work at big utility, so.
Yeah, it'd be in Vegas, somewhere else, yeah. Hey, we know that you guys obviously are very concerned, Todd, as you just said, very concerned about future power costs. And there was the article in the paper this morning, about y'all shopping a bit. I don't know if you want to address the rest of the council and kind of catch everyone. I'm not sure if anyone else saw the article in the Democrat this morning, or not, but.
Yeah, we were not sure who the person was that showed up at our meeting last night. Typically, nobody else comes to our meeting except for just us. But it was the Arkansas Democrat, and because of the agenda, they thought it was actually something dealing with data centers. But one of the things we did share or we're starting to implement, because our current contract ends May 31st of 2027, okay? We're done some initial analysis on hiring somebody to assist us in doing the power marketing side of it, because it is very, very, labor intensive of what you have to do when you are operating within the, Regional Transmission Organization, or RTO. So, there is a cost to that, there's a fee associated with it, but the sooner we can get them on board, I've already started to set up a group meeting, with that potential organization, either late August, early September, so that we can get them on board and they can start helping us develop. And what we'll end up doing is like, we'll go out and buy blocks of power, overall hours, or blocks of power in certain months, depending on the risk. Like, we did it this year. In January and February, I actually went out and did a couple bilateral deals where I bought blocks of power, worried about a potential winter storm and prices going up. It still hit us. We were all able to offset, believe it or not. If we would have not done that bilateral deal in January, our cost would have been another $300,000 higher. But because of the bilateral deal we did, we able to lock in price and hedge some of that, okay? So that's the kind of things we'll have to continue to do. Right now, I'm doing it on a very small scale because it's us doing it, and it's, as we're doing for all our stuff, and continually, we will need somebody helping us get those services. Again, I wanted to go through and see the transparency, see that, look, this is how it works on the power cost adjustment, and this is what's happened so far. So, as long as natural gas prices stay low, we can keep our prices low. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I have a question about the power cost adjustment.
Go ahead.
Is that something that's going to continue from now on, or just forever?
Correct.
Forever, okay, it's not
Correct.
just until the contract is up 27, then.
Correct. There is not another organization that I know of in the state. I know there's not in the state of Arkansas that does not have a power cost adjustment. Okay. There might not be one in the rest of the United States. And basically all that's doing is saying, hey, within our rates, we have 5.7 cents embedded in our rates for energy, transmission, and those services, okay? If the cost is more than that, we're just gonna capture the extra. If it's less than that, we're gonna pass it back to our customers.
I think if we could explain that, because, option B would be to wait, I'm assuming, and then boom, we got a rate increase, and then a rate increase, and then a rate increase. This just gives you, it's like flexibility.
And that's what it's doing is, and before you came on, it was a built-in, it was a flat rate, and it had a CPI adder. By doing it the way we're doing it now, the only thing I'm worried about is my actual cost associated with my O&M. I'm not worried about my energy cost because it's automatically captured. One of the things we might look at in the future doing is potentially doing like instead of having a month, potentially having a 3-month average, so it doesn't jump up and down. Like you saw in February, it was 2 cents, and then the very next month, it was way back down. Customers sometimes don't like that whipsaw, but when you do that, then because you have customers that, depending on when they have their usage, or when they come in and when they come out, their usage might match up exactly of when their bill. Some delay in there or something.
Any more questions for Ben Utilities? All right, seeing none, we'll move along. I know, Councilmember Brown walked in just a little late. I just want to make sure statement of FOIA compliance, you can affirm that you have not engaged in any private discussion, deliberation, polling regarding any item of this meeting agenda outside of properly noticed
Yes.
open meeting.
Forever.
Oh, Mr. Blind, you as well? Yes, yes, thank you very much. Just making sure we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's there. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item number 5, this is resolution to approve a SRO contract with the Benton School District. This right here, 8 years ago, I think we were funding 3, possibly 4. And now tonight is we're proposing for provide for 9 school resource officers for the 2026-27 school year. Chief Hodges is requesting this resolution authorizing the police department into a 1-year contract with the Benton School District, as we normally do. It's grown each year. That's a good thing. That's a sign of growth within Benton. So that's a positive. This is included in your packet of the proposed contract. And, Chief, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, or if you want to entertain any questions possibly.
Just to let y'all know, we currently have one at the CTC, which has nothing to do with this particular resolution. We currently have 9 in our public schools, and that is a continuation to do just like we currently had in last year's school.
And that's 1 for each campus.
That is.
And are we slated for a growth beyond,
I haven't heard of any school being built in the near future. You know, we had 1 in this previous year and 1 in the year before, and I haven't heard of anything additional coming soon, anytime soon.
okay. 3 to 9 in 8 years, that's a lot.
The cost, the 556,416, does that include, outfit, vehicle, equipment?
That does not include equipment, uniform, police vehicle, or anything. That is just the officer's pay to include fringe.
We already
That's a
have,
percentage. It's not, they don't pay the whole amount. And if you want me to throw a number on it, I will. I don't have it exactly, but it's about 73% because of the days in school, which is, it depends on who you're talking to, whether it's 189, 191 school days. Because we also take them out of schools for training and various things, and we utilize them especially during the summer. This also includes some funding for extracurricular activities, athletic events, and banquets and proms and things like that, that we cover the cost, but it's in here that the school pays. It just comes through the city check.
Is it typically the same officer at the same school throughout the entire year, or? do they rotate?
Typically, it is the same officer in the same school, unless something comes up and something has to change, which is not frequent. Every now and then, we might have someone go on military leave, and then we have to supplant them. And then so it'd be a new officer in the school.
So they're able to build a rapport with the students. and-
Correct, exactly. We want them to know that officer's name and be able to come in and talk to them about things.
You remember 8 years ago, we made this commitment to have 1 on every campus. It's been nothing but positive from the parents of kids attending the schools. It's a great thing for us because these officers get to know the kids and they prevent things from happening in advance by the kids trusting. And that's what it's all about. So it's a great program. It's beneficial to the city, and it's beneficial to the parents, beneficial to the school.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. One more, Chief. Yes. Next item, a resolution to surplus police assets. I doubt there'll be any commentary on this, but we had 1 police vehicle. We authorizing the police department to discontinue service. No longer needed. It's a 2012 Ford Mustang. It's, we want to remove this unit from the inventory per the police request, and it's to be auctioned utilizing an online auction source. And the police department will be responsible for setting up that auction. Any questions on that?
Yes, we bought this vehicle used as for an SRO, and it was all set up and decked out. It went for many, many years. It's probably been out of service, if I were guessing, probably about 6 years out of SRO service, and it's been utilized for other things, and it's just getting to a point where it's time to let her go.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion and seconds on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, thanks, Steve Rogers.
Next item, number 7, it looks like here, we have a resolution to accept the Fire FEMA Go Grant reimbursement and budget amendment. The fire department did submit and received a grant from FEMA Go in the amount of $51,987. This is for 7 thermal imagers. And this grant was a 90-10 grant. They've been received, expenditures have been made, and the reimbursement has been received. We need to make an amendment to the budget to reflect this transaction. I've been told that a thermal energy imager is a one that if you got a fire, you can see bodies within a structure. Is that, I think that's correct, right? So that's what that is. So we do have a resolution, and we'll need to pass this to make a budget amendment.
Motion approved.
Motion and second. Seeing no further discussion on this, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We have another item, number 8. This is another fire surplus asset funds and budget amendment, another budget amendment. This is another resolution. Last year, Resolution 90 of 2025, the fire department requested to sell a 2007 Crown Victoria because it was beyond its useful life. Sold through the internet, $2,625. Chief Evans would like to amend the budget to receive these proceeds from the sale of the car and increase its facility maintenance expenditures.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second on the floor on this item. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, towards the end on the financials, I'll just, the next item is the mid-year financial true-up. Each year, as you know, this committee is asked to shift expenditures within the departments. You should have a copy in your packet. Do need a resolution on the budget amendment detail, but I'll just call your attention that every department that's in this packet, it's a resolution, it's got the detail attached to it. Every department spent within their budgeted amount, but there are just a few exceptions towards the back for animal control, public safety, and the special revenue category fund, ARPA, which is the American Rescue Plan Act Fund. And what I've ascertained, talking to Ms. Spicer, and she can go and answer any questions regarding these 3 departments, is that it was just a timing issue between last year and this year as far as the monies, and some of this was ARPA-related funds, completion of buildings, timing, move-in dates, actual taking possession of type situations. So if you'll take a look at that detail, you can see $708,821. There's a difference for animal control. I think it's the next to the last page there. $500,000 for public safety police, completion of the build-out of, I believe that was on exit 114. Is that one? Or is that the ARPA? That's the ARPA one. Yeah. So any questions on that, on those items? We do need a resolution to make those adjustments to the budget amendment.
So Manny, we had all this.
Correct.
We just don't show where that carried over.
So when it's in cash, so we had budgeted all of those as expenditures inside of 2025. We thought that we were going to move in at the end of last year, and then, so we rolled all that cash over. So it's in the restricted cash balance, and so you'll be able to see that like in general fund, especially. But those were budgeted in those 3 different line items, and it was for the PD renovation of 114 Southeast Street, as well as the new animal shelter that's located at 1200 South Market.
Even though it looks like a lot of money could be moved, we really still.
Well, and it's not being moved, it's just being appropriated this time because it wasn't included in the appropriation for 26, because we thought we were going to spend it in 25.
Coming out of cash.
It's coming out of cash.
Coming out of cash. We got a good balance in cash.
Mandy, could you elaborate more on the additional part-time for animal control?
Yes. You're talking about the part-time? That's
Went
just
from
a,
0 to 12, we just have to use
Yes.
more part-time this year.
we were going to, yes, we need additional part-time for the new shelter. Our
Okay.
plan is to add some kennel techs, part-time kennel techs.
Thank you.
All right, we'll need a resolution on this one. Any other questions? All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, we have two more things, other business. June 2026 financials, which that's in front of you. Level of detail there. You see that we had another positive on the year-over-year sales and use tax collections for the general fund. See, year-to-date, we're at 5.4.
Yes.
Yeah, 5.4 increase, and what was the budget, 2%? So again, I mean, if you've been on this, on council long enough, finance committee long enough, it's usually pretty tough. It gets better throughout the year. As far as, like, so I'm encouraged by where we are at this point of the year, up 5.4% versus what we budgeted. And we generally do a very conservative on the budget, but, a lot of expense and things of that nature, subscriptions and insurance, beginning of the first half of the year, so that's encouraging to me. Manny, I don't know if there's anything else you want to, apologies, Ms. Spicer, but anything else you want to add to
Nope,
that?
that's okay. Just wanted to touch on general fund. If you'll notice for the month of June, we were in the black, $124,843.11. And our available unrestricted balance is roughly $300,000 more in 26 than what it was in 25. Again, we're not talking about the restricted account balances because that was the animal shelter. That was some of the PD bill, those types of things were in the restricted part, but the unrestricted cash is stronger in 26 than it was 25. And the financial stability fund balance is at $2,292,072.64. If anyone would like to go over those in detail, please send me an email or give me a call, and I don't have a problem going over those with you guys in just a little bit more detail and give you some explanations.
Okay. All right, now, the last item I have under other business is turf discussion. I have no idea what that's. That's in regards to, Mayor?
As you well know, we've entered a turf. We're looking at turf on 21 baseball, softball fields. That's how many fields we have in our park system right now. We want to turf the infield of them. You've probably seen the paper and some social media that Everett's has donated $500,000 to cover all Riverside softball field. We've got Jones Heating and Air has given us $140,000 for naming rights on one of the multi-purpose softball fields. And just today, Westside Pharmacy has agreed to give us $130,000 to turf the infield on softball multi-purpose field number 2. We still like all 8 baseball fields at Holland and the one multi-purpose adult softball field. We've got 9 leads out there of people that are thinking about committing to doing the indoor turf. And so we're in the process of raising the money for naming rights of each one of the turfs. And hopefully that if we can get it all done, we'll bring it back to the council next month with an RFP out there so that we can see what we can do and where we can go and make this happen. We would love to start sometime in November with the project so that we could be ready by the spring ball season for these fields. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to do the field, but if you're doing them all at once, they can move one to the other. The proximities makes it workable, and it's something that I think we can accomplish with the hard work that has been going on. So you'll see more pictures in the paper with advertising things for the art deck circles and other things. Every day we're in the process of meeting with people, talking about turf and moving forward. So hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have great news, and all the other 9 fields, will be taken care of. If any of you would like to name the field after yourself, please see me after the meeting. I will make sure it happens for a small fee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call this meeting adjourned. Commissions.
We call our commissions committee to order, and I was told on my left with Mr. Ham, with our recognition of our team. Yes, sir.
Lines.
Jeff Morrow.
Jason Meyer, Chaz Carter.
Evelyn Reed. And Spencer Cole.
Steve Brown.
Frank Baptist.
Thank you. Next, for the approval of our minutes for June 9th, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have on the agenda our, from our PNC, we have an ordinance to rezone property at 2409 Millington Road from R1 to C2. And I believe on this property, they're just trying to correct it because it was rezoned.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Cole. So this property was rezoned back in 2013. They, at the time, I believe they thought they rezoned the entire property to C2, but when you read the ordinance that was submitted and also the legal notice put in the paper, there was a bunch of less than accepts, and what you see in there with the R1, the little pipe stem, upside down flag, that was in the less than accept, and that was what was legally put in, so we had to legally follow that for our zoning, and that's been in place since then. What this ordinance does, it rezones the entire property to C2 and allows the new buyer of the property to move forward with their project.
Do you have any questions from the council?
Yes. Madam Chairman, do we know what that property is going to be used for?
Right now, we have a site plan review going forward for a warehouse, electrical warehouse, very similar to what you see up here on South Street at Sevier, at the interstate. It's Fox Plumbing. It's going to be electric. I can't remember the name of the owners, but it's an electric warehouse. And then they're also platting off 1 acre right on the corner of North Shore and Military for a separate development that they have not shown us yet.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Next, we have an ordinance to rezone property at 1202 Tyner Cove from AG to R2. Originally, it was a request for R5. But on this day, there was some residents that was there that was talking against this property, but they had some concerns that it was going to be a R5. Jason, do you have any other comments?
So there was some public input from the residents along Tyner Cove. The applicant themselves first requested to potentially go down to R3. I actually requested that they move down to R2, and the rationale for that is if they had stayed R3, there was a possibility they could build 3 houses on that property. Our view and planning office was that 2 houses, single-family houses would be sufficient. And also that removes the duplex that they were planning on potentially 2 different duplex that are on high. That does not seem like it would be sufficient for that area of Tyner Cove. But they seem fine with allowing 2 single-family upon a replat of the property.
Any questions from the council? Tyner Cove?
1206 Tyner
Cove, it's over by Silica Heights.
Yeah, there's right next to Country Oaks is just across the field from them. That was a large duplex that was R5, and that was a lot of the rationale by the property owners that they did not want to have another Country Oaks situation, and so the applicant was willing to go.
It's actually by Silica Heights. Any further questions? Next, we have an ordinance to rezone property at 1717 Deerfield Road from R2 to R5. Do you have any questions? Next, we have an ordinance to rezone property at 411 East South Street from R2 to R5.
We just skipped all of them.
Oh, well, I didn't ask if we had any questions, but we can go back.
So R5 does not allow apartments. What it does allow is if they replat the property, they can have up to 4 units per lot. They haven't submitted any plans yet for this. I don't have the acreage on here, I apologize. But they initially talked about up to 24 units. All duplexes, meaning they had to replat the property in 6 individual lots as well as have a road go down into it. So it'll be a road, a cul-de-sac since it's going out. They haven't submitted any site plan, that is what they mentioned. But that would be, they would have to replat to get up to 4 units per lot. So it'd have to be a replat, they'll go back to planning commission. No, the council did not review subdivision, it's just to the rezoning request.
Any other questions on Deerfield? You guys see any other questions? Any other comments on Deerfield? Okay, back to 411 East South Street from R2 to R5. Do you have any questions on that property?
On this, 411 East South. Again, they're requesting R5, which could allow duplexes or quadplexes. It's very narrow, so they'd have a tight fit to do much more than one or two lots. I would say no more than 2 lots, more than likely. But what you're seeing would be very similar to what you see just in the purple, just to the east of there, or west of there, excuse me, off of Pearson. They have some smaller lots. I would prefer to see more single family right there. But if it goes to R5, then they would be allowed, if they could fit it in a site plan. It's all R2, and then across First Street, we have TC2, and then just to the southwest, we have R5.
Do you have any further questions?
So these are all R5 requests. Zonings don't have to have a site plan. Most times they can indicate what they're looking at, but the site plans come at a later date once they've got any appropriate zonings. And then they come back to the planning commission and DRC for what they want to build. But typically you're not seeing site plans at this level. This vote was passed unanimously.
To rewrite the ordinance.
Units just to put more units in certain areas, just because people are trying to pack more return on their investment than what we need. I'm worried about than what we're trying to just approve and go through with that, not knowing what they're gonna even do. So again, I'll probably vote no on a lot of these just because of those concerns.
Do we have any further questions? Next, we have an ordinance to rezone property at 1825 Watts Road from R1 to R5. Have any questions?
On Watts Road, so it's double-sided, so you may be on the backside of the page, I apologize. Trying to say paper.
That's not a very big lot to go from.
They're the same developer, I believe it's the same developer, that's looking at the property, they're looking at getting their entitlements at that time. And that's standard with zoning, so if they can sell the property. I believe Deerfield is a separate one, but most of these have been by the same applicant.
That's a very small lot.
Yeah, so this lot is unique in that, you go out there, there's a big drop off once you get about 50 to 60 feet in. I went out there and looked at it. It's kind of a jungle on the front, but you can tell there's a definite drop off. The applicant's coming forward with this rezoning. As you can see on the map, they've already got R5 across the street and they've got apartments, to the northwest of their R7. There are concerns by the residents in that area of fire access, and it is a rather small road. This is the photo of the TNT. This was the 5-4 road that Chairman Stillwell was the site of. And the residents that residents know a lot about why they are notified within 300 feet, 300 feet of property number notified. I believe 2 months ago, we had very similar, we had about 4 rezonings come through. They're all under a PDP path, but the city council, I believe, voted down 2 of the 4. So that's left up to you, decide ultimately if it's best fit or not.
Do we have any further questions? Okay, next, we have an ordinance to amend the zoning code for multiple definitions.
Councilwoman, so this is the amendments to the definitions that brought forward last month and then I asked to hold off. Everybody should have gotten an email this morning for the meeting on Friday with James Walden from Garver. He's also with the municipal, helping out with Municipal League, to go over the definitions and also to go over different housing styles that are coming to the forefront and to help out also with the recent passage of a housing act through Congress. James was. What we have here is adding some definitions, help clarify some stuff coming up, modular homes, factory built structure, producing section, transported to a site for assembly on a permanent site built foundation. And that would also anything that we brought on site. I call it Legos. Just put it together on site. You're not having to frame anything. It's all built it's essentially in a warehouse, but it's not a manufactured modular home. It's a manufactured home, a mobile home. Also a tiny home. The standard definition for a tiny home, we actually have one that is being built currently, I believe, on Liberty Street. Very small, 50 square feet, 2 single carports on either side, looks very good. Just defining that, a tiny home on wheels. This one, making sure we classify that an RV, so it's not a home that can just be left on a piece of property. A tiny home community, a placement of 3 or more tiny homes at a time, and it follows zoning regulations. This is more because I am catching wind from realtors that there is a potential tiny home community development that is being proposed in the city. And then, the truck stop plaza is, setting up a definition for a truck stop, and allow us to, our zoning regulations to, see what we got, truck stop, how you best fit, call. And I just want to make sure that this is clarified. There was concern from Bucky's, or, Bucky's calling us on the travel center. This is different in that, Bucky's does not allow overnight semi trucks, actually any semi truck over for the shopping merchandise, for gas tank, gas trucks, excuse me. A truck stop is fitting for, long haul drivers. It also includes, food, shower, laundry. But I'm not doing any of that, so I want to clarify that that is not part of it. And that's here in the short term overnight. And this just to get the definition of it.
Can I ask a question about I guess the structure in which we put these things to? I know that a lot of our housing had problems with parking and adequate parking on on the houses. And especially a lot of our older homes, but that just getting people off the street is something I hear frequently, cars. So if we're looking at this and trying to restructure any of that, I would love for it to, most people don't just have two cars, or some people have more than that, and they make a one-car carport, and they have two cars or three cars, and they're parking on the sidewalk and on the curb, and, just being able to address adequate parking in these residential facilities or apartments. Right. I hope that we, can tighten that up, I guess, moving forward.
Any further questions? Okay, next, we got the P and C, the non-council, information. Do you have any information on that, Mr. Jason?
No, I just wanted to provide the council with all the items from P&D. Not all the items come to the council, and it's just give you a view of what was done. Item approved, table. If you don't mind me speaking on it, you'll see jobs approved on the preliminary plat, and this came through the council last time. We did approve the plat with conditions. I've worked with John from the street department, and also Taylor and McClellan on this issue. They're working with the drainage report right now. Just wanted to let you know a couple of conditions that we place on it. We do not want another issue where we got a 60-acre clear cut at the very start. So we've already got the developer on the plat with the general note that the grading will be paid. So when they start at 6 acres, we'll start grading at phase 1 and 2. Once phase 1 is done, they can start at phase 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So it's never going to be just 60 acres of clear cut. It's going to be stepped up. Also, they do have quite a large area of green space along Broad Street itself to do there. We've asked that area not be touched outside of the 50-foot water road that are needed for the road to go through it. So there should be plenty of green space there that will also help us with the drainage and filtering versus just all the trees being gone.
Can we follow up on the St. Andrews drainage issues that we've had with that, dropping back off? I know we talked a lot about that and the development of that, and we had Ms. Hope Engineering here saying that but is there any follow-up on any of that, or how's that being resolved?
John?
Best of my recollection, we just been, with our stormwater team, we've just been staying on top of it. I do know that there's been a lot of houses built and sod put down and a lot of stuff happening, but it's all positive stuff. Like they're staying on top of it, making sure they don't leave nothing uncovered, silt fences are up, that kind of thing. We're keeping an eye on all that and making sure everything stays clear on their drainage structures in there. We still be studying those and trying to come up with ideas what we could do in the future if it continues to be a problem. something happens, we certainly look to them to rectify the situation. Both. We have to be both. We try to be proactive and looking ahead, and then if something happens, we get on them to get something done and not leave people hanging out there to do it themselves. Well, it's, you're talking about Cottage Walk being approved. You're talking about Cottage Walk being approved. Yeah, it's pretty much a done deal, because at this point, you do not want to stop. You want to get that built the way it's meant to be built and engineered. That's going to help the final, that's going to help everything when everything's working right, all the drainage is done right, everything's going the right way. Right now, it's just all a bunch of runoff. There's no filtering system working correctly just yet, so. But, yeah, it's being accepted for final plat in phases, so. It's being accepted by final plat in phases. Like phase 1 and 2 is, well, 1's already been accepted, final plat, and then they're into phase 2 now. So they got 4 or 5 phases, so. But they went ahead and being proactive, they went ahead and put detention on the other side, and they've enlarged their detention that they have. So, yeah, it's, oh yeah, we worry too, so.
To be true, I thought I did a lot of, that the last, July the 4th, flood, we got 47, the work they've done out there, and big pond, opening up the drainage and that kind of stuff.
Based on that too, and Jason, I think you kind of hinted at this with the Dobbs Creek about you guys doing grading and phasing, it's kind of looking at lessons learned in Cottage Walk. Do we need to maybe consider, better standards or ordinances when it comes to elevation changes? I mean, because it was a substantial elevation change.
Well, that's a hard one because elevation's different all over. I mean, I think this was a unique case, and it's one you want to catch on the drainage report. If the drainage reports are accurate, to make sure that they are catching everything.
All this came about was McClellan would show up at DRC every week now. It helped review the plans, look at the water patterns and the other things that's helping our team make decisions of what to do and what not to do, which that we didn't have that prior to Cottage Walk. We didn't have them come, but they come every week. I believe it's Claire that comes from your team. Okay. So, and that's helping us because we've learned a bunch from that one situation. You don't let them clear cut everything at once and then start working. You come in and do it in phases. So the team is asking better questions. They keep looking at McClellan for advice. And I think that's helping us, especially when it comes to Dobbs Creek, because I learned quite a bit about it. We all know water flows down here.
And to John's point about being reactive, unfortunately, we were having to be reactive to Cottage Walk and just go as we go. And they've started putting the soil on those hillsides. If you look out there, there's more grass, which is great. This is a great filter. It's not just mud and dirt. We've also been more proactive, even on the smaller with these guys constantly saying, hey, we probably need to look at this side a little bit closer. We just issued a violation for mud in the road on the outside of the Lakeville Pond elevation. So we're being more proactive in that case. It is sometimes it's not easy to build because I think some stuff happened last week. We're now being more proactive on it because we have people flooding issues. So I think moving forward, we're being much more proactive. It's just right now, especially with Cottage Walk, it's a full deal, as John said. we're gonna be kind of a reactive stage while being proactive on having upward phase two.
Wrong, we got about 14 blocks on that. Definitely looking at block or magnifying.
Okay, well, we have no items under PUC or A&P, or historic district. If we have no further discussion, I would like to adjourn this meeting.
Yes, sir. Good evening. We're gonna call community service meeting to order. And, we do have a quorum, but I would like to have established, the recognition of attendees, starting on my far right with Alderman Baptist,
Frank Baptist. Steve Brown.
And Fisher Cole.
Evelyn Reed,
Judge Hart, Trevor Valines.
Jeff Am.
thank you. We've already had our statement of FOIA compliance, so we're gonna go down to item number 4, which is the approval of the June 9th, minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any approve? Disapprove. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, under new business, we're gonna switch this up a little bit, and we're gonna go, starting with A, we're gonna go down to B, and that is the ordinance for discharge of fireworks, and this is to allow fireworks discharge at sport events for Benton High School.
All right, I guess I'll talk on this one. That the Touchdown Club, which we have representatives here to talk about it, have done a research. They've gotten with Craig Hill, our fire marshal, and what they've determined is the fireworks they use at Simmons Arena, which is inside, when they shoot up, it doesn't have any fallout. So Craig has looked at their proposal. The Touchdown Club is bringing, they want to shoot fireworks after every home varsity football game, if the ordinance passes, which is a good thing. Craig has approved where their location to shoot it from, and they're happy with the situation. I think it's going to cost them $500 a game, kind of depending on how much the Panthers score throughout the year as to the cost of it. But the big thing is there's no fallout. When we went to Greenbrier, if any of you, not Greenbrier, Greenwood, if any of you were there, they shot fireworks after every touchdown, but there was a lot of fallout. And so when I asked their mayor about it, he said, we just ignore it. Well, we can't ignore that because we have a lot more people at the ball games. So this is kind of where we're at with this. Our city attorney looked at it and worked with the Touchdown Club to come up with the ordinance to allow it in our city. Questions? No. Harold.
No, these will be, these are low smoke. They can be shot within 25 foot of an audience. And the other thing that we've done in order to be good neighbors, we've left out the concussions. So there will be no loud concussions or booms associated with these either. All right. And while I'm up here, I just want to say thank you to most of you for taking my call at the end of June. Appreciate everything and taking the time and letting me talk to you about this at that time. But no, this is something that we've been really excited about. We've seen this done at many other locations and stadiums. Something that we are trying to accomplish is bringing more of an entertainment value to our games and bring a little excitement and something new. And this is something that we would like to add to that. What we are going to do is we do have an ask to the fireworks when they come out. They're going to be doing some red, white, and blue for us at the end of the Star Spangled Banner and during our run out. And then school colors during touchdown. And then if there's anything afterwards, they'll shoot off a few if we get a win. Knock on wood, they're all wins, right? So outside of that, We do have it all fully fundraised. Some of the names that you guys mentioned earlier for the turf are big sponsors here. So we're fortunate to live in the community we live in. So the Everetts have joined up. Josh Lane and ACDI is helping out, and Westside Pharmacy are all covering the cost of this for us as well. So they're going to be shot from the indoor facility that is there. So there are 2 balconies that are out there, and Hog Wild Pyro is building a couple of units they'll set those up, and they'll shoot them off right over the fireworks, over the scoreboard. That'll be able to be singing after after the score. No. Yeah, worked hard with Craig Hill to get it done and get something he would approve. And we got got our plan approved. He looked at it and did give us the thumbs up. Yeah, so no, this is just simply, imagine a very large Roman candle. So just fires the colored lights up, low smoke, and no concussion.
Who will be discharging these fireworks? Do you have somebody already selected to do
Yeah,
that?
so it's Hog Wild Pyro. They currently do everything for Simmons Bank Arena, the Travelers, and Conway High School.
If I may, just from a dad of a former football player, any added excitement to get them pumped up, I'm all for, as long as it is safe. And we've talked, and what you've saying tonight, I mean, I think y'all done a very good job of making sure that it's safe. Fire marshals approved it. I just think it's a great thing for the kids. It's just, like you said, it's just to add one more upper dimension of what we don't already have. So I think it's.
Should be fun.
Pretty
Hopefully we
fun.
draw some crowds. Jim is here as well. He does a fantastic job with our broadcast. Almost too good. So we need something to bring people into the stadium. So a little something extra. Yeah, Conway, Boxside does it, Greenwood, Russellville. I don't, but there's several. Yeah, quite a few.
I'm old school enough to think just a touchdown's pretty exciting, but.
Yeah.
But I think this takes it to another level, but, I think it's a good deal, and I hope you guys, exceed your budget.
Yes, we do too. We do too.
Well, because of the noise ordinance, we had to pass this amend our ordinance to allow this to happen. That's the reason it's brought here tonight. I think it's a good thing. I think it's good for the city.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? At this time, entertain a motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second, to bring this fireworks ordinance before the full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go back up to item A, property remediations, code compliance. We have 122 West Drive cleanup and 1607 South Neely Street is a cleanup.
Good afternoon. My name's Tyler Ritchie. I'm with Community Development Code Compliance Office. We have 2 properties for property remediation today. One is 122 West Drive. It's going to be off of South Street. It's about a block before you get to Hogs Wild if you're going towards the interstate from here. That one's just a mowing job. The cost of it was $220.88. We went in on May 30th and completed that job. Any questions for that one? No? Okay. The next one is 1607 South Neely Street. We brought this one before, got resolution 16 of 26. We passed it in March of this year. It was a condemnation for a burnout we did. We went in on June 3rd of this year and completed that raisement of the property. The cost of that was $5,070.88. We've had good feedback from the neighbors. They're glad that it's looking better for their property values. That's all we have for this month, and then we'll have 4 properties come for lien at city council in 2 weeks, so. Is there any questions?
No, but I want to brag on our code enforcement for just a minute, if I might. We've asked them to step up the game and really address some issues, and they've really done that. If you go to the end of Market Street, you'll notice that there used to be cars parked to Mr. Hart's point on both sides of the road going to our new animal shelter, and they've got down there and worked with the owner to get that mess cleaned up. So that's just one example. They're doing it all over the city in every ward. We got 1 per ward, and they're all working hard. You don't find them in the office very often.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if this is the appropriate time or not. I had reached out to Tyler, I guess it was, a month ago, Tyler, whatever, to have him look at a property in Ward 1 where there's several cars parked in the yard, there's 2 campers parked in the yard, all this stuff. And based on the feedback, the current ordinances, the way they're written, don't address those things. So I would like to propose us to do a study related to issues like that, because, I mean, it's not just because it's next door to my in-laws' house, but it is truly, I mean, obviously that has something to do with it, but it is truly an eyesore. I mean, and I mean, Tyler,
Yes,
you
sir.
can attest to it. I mean, he's got 2 campers in the yard and 4 cars, and, it's just, it's a bad situation.
So I agree. What Councilman Brown's talking about is the operable vehicles. By that, if they can legally get in it and drive away, it's considered operable, and we do not address where they can park it on their property. They can have it on their front yard, their backyard, side of the property. We do get a lot of calls about it, and there's a lot of people that are upset about it, and we can't do anything. But the way our ordinance reads is if it's operable, it's allowed to be there. If it's inoperable, even including if it's not currently registered, they got 3 fixes. They can put it in the carport, they can put it in the garage, bring it to registration, or put a covered car cover over it, or a fitted car cover over it. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. We do get a lot of calls about that, if that's something we need to bring forward. I know earlier it was mentioned about having adequate parking. So that's something that we'd have to look at if we decide to go that route and how we're going to address that. So.
And again, at this point, I don't know what the answer to it is. I guess I'm questioning, is it something that, because if it's happening there, to your point, Alderman Hart, it's happening all over the city. I mean, is this something that we should take a harder look at?
I agree, because I see it's in our ward as well, but we have a lot of people in a big bus sitting there. I agree that we may need to look at the ordinance.
I agree. We can absolutely look at other municipalities and see how they address it. And then maybe we can bring something up for your committee next month to look at.
Great, thank you.
So we'll work together on this. I can just say a couple right off the top would be parking has to be on a hard surface. Could be one option, whether it's gravel or a concrete driveway, obviously. With RVs and campers, it could be they're required to park them behind the front setback of the house. They're pushed back further off the road, so they're either behind a fence or something. That's just off the top. So me and Tyler will discuss this, and we can bring this forward, maybe at least at minimum, a discussion next month, and we can see how we go from there. Does that work? Okay.
It's 8 inches, yes, sir. No, sir. It's a produce or garden. Yes, sir. Correct. So any of the overgrown vegetation, talking about any of the grass, the weeds, if it's vines, anything like that. I can look at it. I know, believe it or not, there's a property over in Madrid that we got a call about for overgrown vegetation on it. We went over there, and that property actually had a USDA number, and we were kind of tied on what we could do with them. So it's a case-by-case situation, but I can look at other municipalities to see what we can do for that.
Well, I've got you out there. I have another question. Are you getting a lot of people calling and complaining about solicitation? People coming to their doors and soliciting?
Here lately, it's been Heritage Farms. I think we got 3 or 4 of them last week and the week before. I know a citation was issued one by Benton Cop in Little or in Long Hills. recently, as of 2 or 3 weeks ago. But also, those people are not having solicitor's license. We've had all of them that we've been having issues with. None of them's had one. Lake Hamilton Roofing in Hot Springs, we've had to contact them, told them if they're doing it, we're giving them a citation again. So to answer your question, yes, sir.
Well, my question was really based on, are there other parts, other wards that you see getting calls from, or just primarily?
From what we've been getting calls, it's just been Heritage Farm so far.
Okay.
But it's not a problem. That's what we're here for.
I get those calls, so, thank you.
In Tyler's defense, most of the no soliciting calls go to the city clerk's office as they handle the soliciting, and then obviously Chief Hodges probably gets, then they go with PD on those calls. So most of them go through city clerk rather than code enforcement in this case.
And city clerk JC, she's been working with us. If something does come in, we go out there pretty quick. I will say all the ones that, like I said, we've been having issues with, none of them's had a license. If they have a license in certain neighborhoods, like Heritage Farms, Long Hills, they're listed as not.
And just for your information, our city clerk had one come to her house the other day because she was telling me about it. And she said, wait a minute, let me see your license. And he goes, what license? She goes, let me give you the form. So it's not just Heritage Farms. She lives in Long Hills.
Well, there's two, I was just mentioning a minute ago, I get a lot of calls from these people, same people that you get calls from, but I know they have concerns, but they also call about a lost dog. And I'm thinking, animal control can only do so much. Your department can only do so much. I mean, they just have to realize that some of the things they are requesting has to be done within their own little community.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for us?
Just out of curiosity, on the soliciting calls, you see mostly, is it fiber companies, is it alarm companies?
One of them was a fiber company. I know one was a security company, and then the last 2 or 3 has been roofing companies. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tyler. We need to finish up with item A. We need to take a motion, for a resolution to go before the council on these 2 properties. Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item C is the ordinance revising certain fees to be charged by the city of Benton.
So I'm happy to discuss this. Most of it, myself and the mayor met with AT&T today, and we have advised with them to speak with Baxter on, there's a new fee. I am seeking to add the excavation fees. The fiber companies, they go in, they bore, or they're doing potholing or digging, tearing up a lot of neighborhoods, and we don't have a permit for that. We have a permit, but we spent hours of staff time on it, myself and Tyler also, after the permit. Sewer hit, water. We had no need for those permits, so that's one of the big things I'm looking at. But I'm asking to maybe table this until next month, so we can have the attorney actually speak with the AT&T attorney on it. If you don't mind me going over the other fees real quick and kind of say what we're looking at. On page 1, on the fence, we're just always charge, we only charge a permit fee for any fence that's over 6 foot, even though we do everything. So what I'm asking is, we just review, any fence permit is $25, since we're all over doing the fence permit. On page 2, number 4, we have been charging a commercial plan review fee. My issue with that is that is not collected until a project goes to a building permit. And just in my short time with the city, I've had multiple projects that we've spent hours on reviewing as a site plan, and they never go to building permit for whatever reason, they buy property or something falls through. We spend hours of time between our street department, fire department, and big utilities reviewing these projects, and there's no review fees. What I'm proposing is remove the commercial plan review fee and replace it with a site plan review fee, and it's done by acres. This allows us to electric fee on the front side, we're already reviewing the project. And then it goes to building permit, and that one, they don't have to do it, they're just paying the building permit, which is required, but they're not gonna pay a commercial. That's what I'm looking at there. Number 21 is the excavation fee. We had a very good conversation with AT&T, one of their engineers. The fee is good, in my opinion. The one thing we talked about that's actually good is, if there's an emergency repair, so someone maybe a fence up and they cut a AT&T fire line. AT&T gets called out, we just ask them to notify us of that they're gonna have to dig or repair, and it's gonna be charged because it is an emergency repair on that part. Or another company, let's say another excavation company hits a sewer line, we're not gonna charge them to repair the sewer line or water line or anything. So that's gonna be something added. We're gonna work with AT&T to work with their legal, regarding the permit fee versus franchise fee, discussion. And then in section 10 on page 4, this is their conversation in my building inspector and permit tax, as well as with the utility staff. We had a lot of work being done with our permits, and this just clarifies that instead of having to go to court as a violation, wait for a court hearing, and then a misdemeanor charge, we can just immediately assess a permit fee of 3 times the permit if they're not working with our permit. And a lot of this is also focused on speaking with Anne Marie at the utility. There's been a lot of meter pools that's very dangerous, and they're notified of it. They have to send someone out on weekends to find out why a meter was pulled. So that's where a lot of this is coming from. It's just the whole thing, contractor accountable and directly for the purpose of its people. Again, I'm happy to discuss more, but I'm asking for this to be tabled until next month. More up to date. So the things you can say is if you knew open or charging for every fifth person. The excavation fee is new because we never charged the permit fee. Seems kind of weird to spend a lot of staff time doing it. And it's about similar to what other cities are charging. It's not like it allows us to actually track the permit fee better and hold them accountable. And the site plan review fee is just a replacement for the
Jason, is this pretty consistent with what we see from other municipalities?
Yes. I looked at North Little Rock, Sherwood, Hot Springs, Bryan, Conway, was trying to find a nice happy medium time. I didn't want to be too far out of whack on fee or too far out on fee. That's why most of these just remain the same. For instance, the big fee, that's typically a permit that's charged. So because keep it in mind with what our staff is having to do on the fees.
I applaud your effort to update the fees and be as fair to our citizens as you can be, and kind of find that happy median. But I would encourage you in the areas where our city is being abused by contractors and out-of-town companies, and it's repetitive, to make sure we've got plenty of teeth in those.
Yeah, so look at section 10, shall be required a permit fee not less than 3 times. So if we feel a repeat offender, sure, we can go for a 5 times permit fee. If it's a one-time, I think 3 times permit fee is adequate. It's less than 1 time. If we do just keep on getting repeat offender reports, we have a little bit of teeth right at that point.
Okay, so we don't need to vote to table this, okay. All right, so, item D is a resolution for community development online permitting software, RFP. This is vendor choice opening on 6/15/2026.
So, Thank you, council members. This is something I've been working on since really about May, June. We did an RFP request about early, mid-May. I wasn't expecting more than 4 or 5, and we ended up getting 15 RFPs. We did, as Tyler can attest, and we probably sat through, I think, 14 demos. All but one company was able to give us a demo, and that's because they came in late on the RFP and we're not able to get there on time. Through those reviews and the scoring, we had narrowed it down to about 3 companies, and then and my view was to go with Tech Connect Go for the bid for this project, for the community development software, and
You have an entire staff, you train, people went through the training.
yes, last week, we were getting everybody on Tech Connect Go. They are we sat there 6-7 hours with us. So we went with, we should be demoed the license module with JC Vinny. Then we did a bigger bid utility, street department, fire, rest of our health and black officers, looking over the community development departments, the finance, code enforcement. And then in the afternoon, had me roll and 2 of the animal control officers look over the animal control.
It's a little bit of every part.
It does. So I just want to be clear, what is on the sheet for the 15,000 is the community development, which is these 3 modules, code enforcement, planning and zoning, and permits. And they offer an additional module, which is what we have asked of the RFP to have room for future expansion for the different agencies within the city. And open and honest, animal services, Nicole from finance, and also that they're still reviewing it. I think they are also reviewing the current program they have. And that's very good too. Seeing JC, we have a lot of good questions on back and forth. And potentially in the future, something we'll look at. Happy to be consistent with those data on it. But we have gotten questions. Data that is possible with us. Feel free to ask me questions on that. So 34,000 includes is the first year cost, and that's standard with all of this. I will tell you, I had the first year cost range from $30,000 a year all the way up to $450,000, depending on the cost. My intent was reviewing it on. We had 50 come in. I was able to set up a very start. I was looking at something relatively close to what we're paying right now, which is 28. So I immediately drew out the need to add with $50,000 per year. And what we're looking for was we need to make sure we have enough lots in this car. In my opinion, right now we do. And so it's 34,000. So 15 of that is the first year annual, and then 19,000 of that is the data migration and the data implementation and setup of the module. And then after the first year, there's then this $15,000.
How many years is the contract?
Most of them have usually 3 years. I think that'd be typical of 3 years. And that's going to be average cost. They didn't have a 3% qualifier like many of them did.
Okay, entertain a motion, for resolution for the community development online permitting.
No move.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. On the other business, A is building permit, report 2025 versus 2026 for the first 6 months. It is towards the back of your packet.
you would like to review. Do you have anything on this, Chase?
Mayor Farmer asked me to put this together and just see how we are relating in 2026 compared to 2025. As you can see, our numbers are double, almost double this year. 109 permits in 2025 in the same time frame versus 213 this year. In that, I will also note that that is with any permits in the ETJ starting to drop off. We only had 11 this year. It came to my attention that we were still doing some permits, inspections out in the county, that ended about mid-February. So that's why the number in 2025 is higher than 2026. You can see the most rough, Ward 5 and Ward 2. You also notice the Ward 4, the rationale for Ward 4, I believe, if you look at those areas, Ward 4, those are all older neighborhoods, they're all built out with very, very little room to put the building in. I think there's a little bit of material, but that area is, Ward 4 is pretty well built out. We may see a couple here and there, but that's why that number is so much lower than everywhere else. Ward 5 is your Interco, Reserve, Switch Crossing areas, and of course, Ward 2 is your North Shore, your Powell Block. But we're having a very good year on the residential one, still going strong. Commercial about the same, just consistent. 23 last year, and we're doing very well on the permit.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Jason? Thank you. The last item on the agenda is the DRC monthly report for June for you to review. At your leisure. Is there anything else to come before this committee? Yes, sir.
Might.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Parsons is retired effective Monday the 20th. Just want to give you some updated information that we'll have a retirement reception for him on the 24th here at City Hall from 1 to 3. Encourage all of you to drop by at that point in time. We had 60 applicants already for that position because once he turned in his retirement papers, we advertised. We've got interviews set up for Monday so that we can get a director in here as quickly as possible. I will tell you that 3 of the applicants have experience in animal services, one with 10 years, one with 5 years, and one with 3 years. So just want to keep you informed of what we're doing. The other position there, we got a resignation from Ms. Howard today that's effective in 2 weeks. And so we'll be advertising for that position and moving forward with that position also. Between the rest of the staff, Doyle Stroud's still over there right now. So we hope to get someone in place quickly. We'll have a ribbon cut as soon as we can get some bugs worked out. We've got a little bit of HVAC problems over there with drainage and other things that Brian and Mr. Moser are working on to correct the problems, because we don't want to have a ribbon cut and take a tour and see problems over there. We'll get the bugs worked out before we have that. So as soon as we get those worked out, we'll have a ribbon cutting. As of Friday, we had 40. We have to remember we doubled the capacity. We had 41 dog cages still available over there, and we had 10 cat cages filled at the time. So we have plenty of room to expand. Working with the county on their program to see where we go from there. So just wanted to give you an update before the night was over.
Anything else? This meeting adjourned. Thank you.